Good morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you see this. This is Dee from Older INFP Insights. I want to thank everybody for viewing my last video in such a short time. That had to do with SE, extroverted sensing, which is complicated. I see a lot of people saw it. I had no idea, but so it's reached its threshold. I'll do another video. What I would like to do a video on today, and I get my ideas for videos just watching what's recommended to me from YouTube, and there seems to be themes that come through, so maybe that's what I need to be talking about. The theme that came through now and is happening to me in my personal life too has to do with listening to INFPs. I'm going to say that again, especially for those of you who are not INFPs and are dealing with one, or just interested in learning more. Listen to the INFP. Now, we are good listeners. I won't get into all the whatever we're called, the mediator, the this, the that. And don't know why it is. I never cough except when I do this video. But with the NF functions, the whatever, using those letters again that I don't like to put all this in practical terms. We are good listeners. We are excellent listeners. We make good psychologists, counselors, whatever has to do with listening. Teachers probably. Yeah, I've done that too. And people are drawn to us for that, and we do listen, and we can listen. Even though when I'm listening to someone else, if the story gets too long, my mind wanders, and people can tell my mind wanders because I say, well, listen. And I'm like, I am listening. I mean, we can multitask, but in true INFP form, I'm not going to hold attention for that long. I can only hold attention when I'm talking about something I'm interested in, not when I'm listening to something I'm not interested in, like the rest of the world probably, but we are excellent listeners. But inside I feel like, I know I do, I just say, where is my listener? I remember I like to give stories, so I remember one of my jobs I had was, because I'm a retired mental health professional, so this is why I'm interested in the MBTI as part of what I'm interested in. I worked in the emergency room. Now, an emergency room, I'm sure most everybody has been to one, and you see how it is, but just see trying to work in one, it's a very ST type of work environment. It's this very sensory level thinking. You've got to be quick on your feet. You've got to do the here and now, blah, blah, blah. That life and death is in your hands a lot of times. What my job was to be the complement to that. It was stressful for me to be in there like everybody else, but mine was to be the complement to that. To go in and get the social history, to go in to talk to people, to talk to their families. To be the opposite, to be the feeler, to be the, not the intuitive, well, the intuitive lots of times, because I picked up on abuse, both domestic violence and child abuse and those types of things. I was easy to pick up on. Also, as I worked there, I only worked there a year and then I got really burned out, but because I didn't have a listener, I got to be the listener to the staff, particularly the nurses. When the nurses were having really bad days and it was really busy, sometimes they would call me to the side and they just needed to debrief what had happened. Sometimes it was something in their private lives they need to debrief, they need to vent, whatever term you want to use, and I listened. But then it got to the point I didn't have anybody to listen to me. So I would just scream inside, internally, as we do with our lives, and just say, where is, and I was a social worker, is my official, clinical social worker was my official title. So I would say to myself, where is my social worker? Where is my listener? So we as INFPs tend not to have listeners, even when we're around another listener. And I have friends who are, I would just say, I have several friends who are INFJs. We tend to gravitate somehow or another, find them. After a while, I mean, they'll listen for a while, but the longer the relationship goes on, the longer I know them, the less they listen and more that they pour out to me about their problems. So, yeah, if you are an INFP, I know you understand that you wonder where your listener is. Just try to find someone. I don't know the answer. If anybody has an answer, I'd like to know, how do we find our own listeners? And number 2, yeah, I always forget the number 2, don't I? If you are, number 2 is if you are dealing with an INFP or want to know how to relate better to an INFP, listen to them. Now here's what an INFP will do, and I've seen some videos here lately that are kind of funny the first time I watch it, and then watch it a second time, and kind of, are they making fun of us? I've been called like spiky. There's one video I want to do commentary. We're spiky. Our stories go on forever. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. That's the point. Our stories go on forever. That's how we process. That's how we deal with the world. Our stories are long, but it's important for us to get it all out, all the colors, all the feelings. When we see a tree, I'm looking outside right now, the tree's changing colors. When we see a tree, we don't just say, well, hey, there's a tree. We want to tell you the colors. We want to tell you the branches. We want to tell you what kind of tree. As we say in writing, because I do have an undergraduate degree in English, we say when we're writing, we call it flesh out. We know how to flesh out a story. Of course, we flesh it out and flush it out. It lasts way too long for most people. But just let us finish it. And please do not cut us off. You want to turn somebody off, you want to turn off an INFP and get them to go silent on you, and maybe even a door slam eventually, cut us off, and particularly in mid-sentence. There's nothing that makes me more frustrated and more isolating to people if they cut me off in mid-sentence, because I'll tell them, well, at least let me finish the sentence. And this thought. The thought will only last 2 minutes, 2 sentences, if you let me finish it. I'll cut it short. But let us do that. Don't cut us off in mid-sentence. That's rude, if nothing else. And we need our listeners too. Doesn't matter who it is, doesn't matter if you are a good listener or not, just do it. So yeah, I just want to put this out there. Anybody's got any comments? I am enjoying the comments. We're getting more comments. We're getting more insightful comments. That's what I wanted to do with the channel anyway, because I don't have all the answers. I'm just telling from my point of view, as someone who's older, as someone who's lived it. I do not have degrees in the MBTI. I just have ideas of my point of view. But we need our listeners. So INFPs, hang in there. Look for listeners. If you got any ideas of where they might be, maybe what personality types. I know, like INFJs, I hang out with them all the time. They're supposed to be good listeners, but after a while, they don't. They get tired of my stories anyway. I try to keep them short, but that's not PowerPoint bullets. But anyway, I hope everybody's doing well. Again, to continue to like, share, comment, subscribe. I appreciate all of you. Until next time, stay safe.